Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, spread fans, to a mock draft special edition. I am your host, Jim Sella, in studio with JK47 and J Dash. 47, we may have to rework your contract with how much you've been coming in lately.
It's always a good time, Jim.
Well, we covered 3 mock drafts. We got hated on by Raiders fans. We got hated on by Cardinals fans. We're not going to go as in-depth as we have before. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the mocks that we've already done, and then just a little bit about our own opinion, who we think each team's going to take. I think starting with number 1, it's one of the few picks we had the same across all 3 mocks, right, Dash?
Correct.
Yeah, Jameis Winston, the quarterback from Florida State to Tampa Bay. Everybody knows it's either going to be him or Mariota. I believe it's going to be Winston. I don't really think we need to talk a whole lot about this pick.
I don't think anybody really has Mariota going 1 anymore.
Ron Jaworski still, and one other person, I can't remember who.
Well, Ron Jaworski lost his mind like 30 years ago.
Yeah, I believe it.
I'm surprised he even has Winston and Mariota in the first round.
47, what do you think? Winston, Mariota, which one do you like better?
I like Winston better, Jim. I think he's the most NFL-ready passer at this point. Not to mention the number 1 prospect going into the NFL regardless.
Heisman Trophy winner, national champion.
This is exactly what Tampa Bay needs to. They got weapons out there. They just need a franchise quarterback to get them the ball.
Any chance they move out of this spot?
I doubt it.
No, you got to go with Jameis Winston with this pick if you're Tampa Bay at this point.
I agree.
You know, I mean, and it's like J Dash just said, they do have weapons. They do have some nice receivers down there, and Winston likes to throw the ball downfield. So, I mean, this just seems like a win-win situation for both Winston and Tampa Bay. Not to mention, I mean, it's pretty much staying home for him, too.
What about the number 2 team, the Tennessee Titans? In our 3rd mock draft, I have them taking Leonard Williams. I think in our first mock draft, we had him taking the quarterback Marcus Mariota from Oregon.
Well, given Tennessee's history with quarterbacks, I don't know if I'd actually do this at this point if I were them.
You wouldn't draft Mariota?
Yeah.
Ken Wisenhunt's there now.
If you want him to sit a year, you know, and I think he's going to have to sit a year.
Well, I think they like Mettenberger for the future and actually want to bring someone in to start now. So you're right. I don't think Mariota is the right choice. Here in the second mock draft, we had him taking Leonard Williams, and I think I'm going to stick with that pick.
Any truth, you think, to the rumor where Phillip Rivers may get traded for this pick?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely possible. I think someone is going to trade up to get Mariota before the Jets have a chance to take him.
I agree. It's going to be risky, but somebody's going to mortgage their future for him. We all know the number 3 team, Jacksonville Jaguars. They got Blake Bortles at quarterback. They need some pass rush help. I could see Dante Fowler Jr. going here, the outside linebacker from Florida. That's who we had in our 3rd mock. He's a big, strong guy. He's a fast guy. Their defense was atrocious last year, and he's looking to be one of the few can't-miss prospects on defense.
Yeah, we had him in the second mock as well. What did we have him in the first mock, 47?
Leonard Williams.
Yeah, that's right, because we had Mariota go in second. So, you know what, though? I like Dante Fowler Jr. here, but if someone does trade up to take Mariota at number 2, I would definitely say Leonard Williams would be the number 3 pick. But I'm going to stick with Dante Fowler Jr.
Yeah, I agree, Dash. If Williams is still on the board because of a trade, he's definite possibility. It'd be hard to choose between these 2 guys.
Well, first and foremost, they need, as you said earlier, they need pass rush help bad. Yeah. These guys have been pretty much last in the NFL in sacks forever now.
Yeah, and they play the Colts twice a year.
But, I mean, you definitely need pass rush help, especially if you're going to overtake Indy in the division.
Believe it. Well, Dash, what do you think Oakland's going to take at number 4?
Oakland at number 4. I think the consensus says they're going to take a wide receiver unless for some reason Leonard Williams would drop as far as number 4. I think they would be smart enough to take him. But they're going to go with a wide receiver. And who'd we have in the latest mock? Kevin White, correct?
Yeah, in 3.0 we had Kevin White.
We had him in 2.0 as well. I think it was a little different in our first draft. What did we have?
Maury Cooper from Alabama.
Cooper seems to be the more polished receiver, but White seems to be the more athletic guy, the faster guy.
White has the higher upside, I think, but like you said, I think Amari Cooper is going to break out earlier. But either one of these guys, they could take either one. It wouldn't matter to me, and I don't think it would be the wrong pick. But I still say Kevin White.
I seen White compared to Larry Fitzgerald in an article yesterday, I think, that I read. His ability to go up and get the ball and just make a play, will a play to happen. We'll see. Our number 5 team, we can only use the name of the city, the Washington...
I'll say it, Redskins.
Oh, you're a racist. When our third mock draft, I have him taking Shane Ray, the defensive end out of Missouri. Just recently, there's been reports that he's had some toe trouble. He could have turf toe and need surgery. He's saying he's not going to have surgery. The doctors told him to just do rehab and rest a little bit. Turf toe is a major injury for a pass rusher. It ended Jack Lambert's career. It certainly could end your career before it gets started if you let it get too far.
Yeah, I actually seen Shane Ray dropping a little bit in a couple of mock drafts. In the second mock, we actually had them taking Randy Gregory, another guy that's been falling in mock drafts. And we actually had him in our first mock as well. And I don't think they're going to take Gregory. And I really don't think they're going to take Shane Ray either. What I'm going to say here is Marcus Mariota is going to be the pick. Someone's going to trade up to number 5 and take Marcus Mariota.
Because the Redskins are so much in love with RG3.
Yeah, please believe.
What do you think, 47? What would you do if you were the Skins?
Well, I mean, in all reality, you could trade down, possibly get some more draft picks in the future. Perhaps this draft does as well.
Who knows? Maybe you can trade back and still get Randy Gregory.
Well, Washington needs a safety, tackle, linebacker, and running back help, not in any particular order. So you still have, Landon Collins, you have all the tackles, most of the outside linebackers, and they're not going to take a running back this early in the draft. So almost everything they need is still going to be there around pick 8, 9, 10. Those are the guys somewhere that might want to move up from Mariota.
Well,
the Browns at 12? Are the Browns at 12?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they're the one team people were saying could be a sneaky team to move up, even though they have Manziel. They definitely like Mariota. 12 to 5, they have the ammo because I think they also have the 19th pick.
So what do you say here?
I'm saying the Skins give up this pick to the Browns.
So you're going to say Mariota too then?
Yeah, if he's still here on the board at number 5, Washington trades back, and I think Cleveland's the one that moves up to grab him. Waste another first-round pick.
Well, I guess there's the possibility of Cleveland, Philadelphia, and San Diego from what we hear, right?
Yeah, I think Philly's more smokescreen. I don't know if they have the ammo to do it.
Well, St. Louis could use a quarterback, too.
Yeah, unless they like Nick Foles.
So, I mean, in all reality, like any one of these teams could actually trade up except for maybe Atlanta or New York.
So you saying the same thing too, 47, they will trade back, or are you going to say they stick with their pick and take someone like Shane Ray or even a Vic Beasley?
I still maintain, I think one of these guys are going to be there a couple picks from now. So, I mean, why not trade down? I mean, it just seems logical. I mean, they lost a lot whenever they went and drafted RG3, so just getting the extra
you have
players.
to stick with them now.
Yeah, and you have to get some extra players to make up for that. So if you can trade down and pick up extra picks, that's huge. They need a lot of help.
All right, let's move on to the Jets at 6.
Well, we all know right away if Mariota's there, they're going to take him. So we'll get that
I believe
out of the
so
way.
too.
Yeah. Geno Smith, you're garbage. I don't care if you follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread or follow me on Twitter at betjimthewin. You're garbage.
Well, what? The Jets brought in Brandon Marshall, correct?
Yes.
So they already brought in a receiver. I don't see them drafting another wide receiver.
No.
I mean, it would be nice to have 2 big-time wide receivers, but look, you brought in Revis and Cromartie, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I keep building on that defense. You have to stop Tom Brady and the New England Patriots offense. I think the best way to do that is keep building on your defense.
Muhammad Wilkerson is set for a huge payday pretty soon. I think he's only got a year or 2 left on his current deal, and he's going to be looking for a big, big payday. They're probably not going to give it to him. He's getting a little bit older. So the possibility of taking a pass rusher now to replace him in a year or so is there. One kind of out of the blue scenario is, what if they snatch up the number 1 tackle? Todd Bowles is up there, okay, from Arizona. I know they didn't run the ball a lot in Arizona, but Bowles is an old school coach. He likes to play physical style defense. Maybe he snatches up that tackle to protect his quarterback, Geno Smith, if they don't get Mariota.
It's definitely a possibility here. I say they go with the pass rusher. What'd we have in the third mock?
Mariota.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We had Mariota. We had him in the second mock as well. And in the first mock, what'd we go with?
Shane Ray from Missouri.
See, I actually want to fall back and go back to our first mock and
The
say
OG mock.
yeah, and say they take Shane Ray.
10,000 views almost.
They don't care about the toe. But
The
this
big
guy's
toe ain't no joke.
Shane Ray's a beast, though.
Yeah, he's one of the better prospects on the D-line, especially going after the quarterback. He plays hard. He was the SEC Player of the Year, I believe. He comes off the ball quickly, so that'll help out. Bulls likes that attacking style defense, so that would be a good pick for him. Our number 7 team, the Chicago Bears, needs a lot of help on the defense also. They could pretty much draft a whole new defense and still be garbage. One guy I think they could take, in our third mock, we have him getting Amari Cooper here, the wide receiver from Alabama.
Yeah, after losing Brandon Marshall.
Yeah, they got rid of Marshall. John Fox is there. He likes to throw the ball more than people think. With Jake Delhomme, they threw the ball well in Carolina the year they went to the Super Bowl. And, of course, they threw the ball a lot with Peyton Manning when he went to the Super Bowl. He hasn't won either of them yet, but he plays a good attacking style defense, and he likes to play efficient offense. But he does want to move the ball downfield, big plays on offense. Amari Cooper's the guy that can help him out.
In our second mock here, we had him taking Vic Beasley.
Beastly.
Yeah, this is my guy right here. And really, like we said, the Bears' defense was very bad last year, and it was one of their worst years in the past decade. I think they have to stick with defense here. What did we have in the first mock? Dante Fowler Jr. Well, he's not going to be around, I tell you that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back. I'm going to stick with the second mock here and say Vic Beasley. Although Amari Cooper is definitely a possibility, and if Cooper goes earlier, it could be Kevin White as well.
47.
I think you got to stick with defense in Chicago. I mean, you still have an offensive foundation in place up there. Forte's there, Cutler's there, Alshon Jeffrey's there. And defense makes more sense. You know, you need help on the D-line. You don't have that explosive pass rush you had at one time. You got to remedy that.
They're moving from a 4-3 to a 3-4 defense, so that's always tough too. But when you're in the 3-4, everybody in Pittsburgh knows you need linebackers, pass rushers. So maybe you guys are right.
Well, above all else, you need 3 defensive linemen that are going to soak up blockers.
Believe it.
Who's up next? The Atlanta Falcons at number 8.
Hotlanta.
Atlanta.
Well, in our third mock, we have Vic Beasley going here, the linebacker out of Clemson. You would like every team to take Vic Beasley. That's how much you love him.
True.
He's probably our favorite pass rusher in the spread coming out of the draft this year.
Vic Beasley's just a beast.
I like linebackers more than D linemen.
I tell you what,
coming
though,
at the quarterback.
If we have it set up how we're saying here, the Atlanta Falcons aren't going to get their shot at any of these outside linebackers, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it could go either way. It's tough with trades and everything. It's so hard to predict. But Vic Beasley, you have him gone already, right?
Correct. At number 7 to the Bears. Who'd you have the Bears taking? Beasley? Or Cooper?
Cooper, yeah.
So you're going to say Beasley here, correct?
Right. If he's on the board, Atlanta loves him. They need outside linebacker and inside linebacker help. Not that he's going to play inside, but they also need line help and defensive back help. And there's a lot of good defensive backs and all the offensive linemen still on the board.
What do you think, 47? What'd
For
you
Atlanta?
say? Yeah.
Well, I think they take Beasley if he's available, but I mean,
Yeah, but you had them going Beasley at number 7, correct? With the Bears.
yeah. So, I mean,
All right. Sorry,
it
go.
depends on what the Bears decide to do. I mean, but if they don't take... If
Oh,
Beasley-
yeah, I think if Beasley's available, the Falcons are going to definitely take him.
So if the Bears take Beasley at 7, what if the Falcons take Cooper at 8 and pair him up with Roddy White and Julio Jones and give Matt Ryan one of the best wide receiver cores in football?
That'd be excellent, but if your defense can't stop the opposing offense, what's it matter?
Yeah, you'd think they'd have to go defense, but you really look, and if it goes down how I just mentioned, the best defender left is maybe that cornerback Trey Waynes, and I think that's a little bit too high for him. So
Yeah.
you might actually have to go just best player available. If it's offensive line to you, go offensive line. If it's wide receiver, go wide receiver. I think Amari Cooper might be the best player left, and you'd have to go that way.
It's looking like maybe Cooper or Brandon Sheriff.
Maybe Danny Shelton.
Yeah.
You could bring him in for the defensive line.
Would
All
you
right.
take a guard that high, though, at 8?
Yeah, it's tough. Well, I mean, they can go top. You see him go top 3 sometimes, but I don't know if he's worth it. I'm gonna stick with Amari Cooper. Ball out on
That's it.
offense.
Put up points.
What do you think, 47?
They might, if they go best player available, you know, you look for them to take Cooper, but with all the top pass rushers off the board, I look for Atlanta to address their defense, particularly some defensive line needs. You know, and I look for them to take Danny Shelton out of Washington, him being the best player on the defensive side of the ball at this point.
I think, yeah, you probably have a better chance of seeing Shelton than Cooper, but I'll stick with Cooper. But Shelton is probably the pick if it went down how mean you were saying.
Yeah,
47.
Cooper's the fun pick.
Yeah.
The fantasy football pick. Well, the New York Giants come in at number 9. They're the first team I have taken an offensive lineman for sure. I think they're going to take Andreas Pete, the tackle from Stanford. Eli had a decent season. He had a good second half of the year. He struggled a little bit at the beginning. He put up mad stats, so Giants fans don't hate on me. I'm not hating on his statistics. But he wasn't very consistent, and he threw a lot of interceptions, and that's not going to win you a Super Bowl. It wasn't all his fault because he was getting pummeled. You put a guy like Pete at left tackle, he's there for 10 years. He keeps Eli upright for the rest of his career.
Is that what we had in our third mock? Was
3.0, we got Pete.
I think in our first mock we had a lineman too, but it was Brandon Sheriff. They like him too. I think their offense was better than their defense last season. I think they need to shore up their defensive line. I think Danny Shelton would be the pick here if he's available.
Well, 47 has him going to the Falcons, so who would you think here at 47 for the Giants? You like Pete at tackle or Sheriff at guard? What do you value more?
You got to protect your quarterback's blind side. I like the tackle, Andrews Pete.
Yeah, I think he's a beast. And when you're a running team like the Steelers used to be, or the Packers used to be, or even the Cowboys of the 90s, they threw a lot with Aikman, but they also featured Emmitt Smith. They had pulling guards. They had mauling tackles and pulling guards. And Sheriff could be that pulling guard, but I don't know. I like the mauling tackle better, the guy who blocks out the sun when he stands up. At number 10, the St. Louis Rams have come in. I have them. This is the second team taking an offensive lineman. I have them taking the guard, Brandon Sheriff out of Iowa. They traded for Nick Foles. They still don't have an answer at running back, but it's too high at number 10 to take a running back. They need a wide receiver, maybe some corner help too, but Cooper's going to be gone most likely by this. At 10, if Cooper's not, yes, he's the sure pick. But I don't foresee him being there, so I look to see him beef up that O-line, help protect Foles a little bit, maybe try to get more out of their running backs by blocking better.
We actually had the Rams taking one of these two linemen in all three mock drafts. Brandon Sheriff twice and Andrews Pete once. But with Pete still being available here, I think they will go with him over Sheriff.
Yeah, and like I said, I got Pete going at 9, so I'm going to switch it up and have Sheriff go at 10 just to spite you.
Sounds good.
47, what do you do if you're the Rams? Trade up for Mariota?
No, I don't think I'd do that. If I'm the Rams, I'm thinking two things. One, get a weapon for Nick Foles. Two, protect them, or vice versa, whatever your priorities are. I definitely could see them taking a wide receiver. I don't think it will.
Devontae Parker is an option here at number 10, but I doubt he'll go that high.
Or even Kevin White also. But, I look for them to take Sheriff if he's on the board. Or Pete if he's on the board. Depends on how it goes. I had Pete going to New York, so, I'm going to go with Sheriff with St. Louis.
Well, Minnesota comes in at number 11. The Vikings got Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback. They signed Mike Wallace in the offseason, so that kind of helps their offense. Not really. All he does is run straight down the field. Adrian Peterson looks like he's going to be stuck in Minnesota. It really doesn't seem like they're going to budge. So if they put Peterson back behind Bridgewater, that relieves some of the pressure off of him. To me, you got to go defense. Trey Waynes is the best defensive back in the draft. He's screaming fast down the field. He'll be good. Not so much right now because I think they're still playing in that outside stadium, the University of Minnesota or something. But once they get into their new stadium, Wayne's speed will be a huge asset for that defense.
I think if Kevin White or Amari Cooper are still available, pick 11. That's the best thing for Minnesota. They want to put weapons around Bridgewater. I don't think Devontae Parker is the guy they take if Trey Waynes is still around. No, I think Devontae Parker is going to be a good receiver. And listen, like a couple of our fans have mentioned, is that he played football with Bridgewater in college. Okay, so he is definitely a possibility. I think it's just a little bit too high to take him at number 11. I think with the top corner still on the board, Trey Waynes would be the right pick.
Yeah, they definitely need a cornerback to go with Xavier Rhodes. Well, let's move on to our number 12 team, the Cleveland Browns, with their horrible new uniforms. You see those things? Garbage.
No, I didn't. I like the Browns' old uni, so...
Well, look up their new ones. They're completely god-awful. They look like they should be in the Little Giants.
What'd they do? Just change brown a little bit or something?
No, they changed the way it looks. It's stupid.
I'll have to check it out.
Fans, check it out. Hit us up on Twitter at bet_the_spread and make fun of them. Their defensive front was a little bit of a disappointment last year, so I think they're going to go Danny Shelton, the nose tackle from Washington. I'm the only one who doesn't have him off the board yet. If Cleveland doesn't trade up to number 5 to get Mariota, like I said, I thought they would, but if they're still sitting here at number 12, if Washington moves back to this number 12 spot, God knows who they're going to pick.
The Browns here, they're either going to go defensive line, offensive line, or wide receiver. They're really only 3 choices right here at pick number 12. Devontae Parker is a great choice. That's who we had him taken in our first mock and our second mock. But with Sheriff still there, he's definitely a possibility too. I'm going to say they go with Sheriff here, with him still available at this point.
I'm going to give you a shocker. If Washington does move back here to number 12 and Cleveland move up to take Mariota, Washington takes Landon Collins at number 12 to be a Sean Taylor type safety in their defense and help carry them into the new millennium of pass defense.
Well, Randy Gregory would still be there too, so that could be a definite possibility for him.
Weed is legal in Washington, D.C.
There you go.
And Washington State, I think. How come everywhere named Washington it's legal and not Pennsylvania?
I live on Washington Avenue.
Well, 47, what do you think? If the Browns are still here at 12, what do you think they'll take?
Browns will still here at 12. I think they're going to go with a wide receiver. Not having Josh Gordon around, that's going to hurt.
Well, with Kevin White and Amari Cooper both off the board, what do you think then? Devontae Parker?
I think if whatever wide receiver is left on the table, I think that's what Cleveland's going to go with.
What if Washington trades back?
Washington trades back. I mean, Randy Gregory's still going to be on my board. I don't really see them taking Landon Collins at number 12. I could see Trey Waynes going to them at number 12 because they do need cornerback help. So, I mean, there's just a number of directions that this thing could go in. But I thought that Cleveland would personally move up and take Mariota. I'm going to go with Randy Gregory at number 12 for Washington Redskins.
I like that pick.
The New Orleans Saints are coming in at number 13. I have the Saints taking Gregory here, the linebacker from Nebraska. 47, you have him gone already. The Saints seem like a good fit for me. For Gregory, he can go down there, party, get hammed up on Bourbon Street all the time. They're an organization that lets people bully people and put bounties on people, so he should fit right in.
Yeah, they need a lot of help on their defense. If Trey Waynes was still available, that would be a great pick for him. But Randy Gregory, that would be great value here because coming right out of the combine, Gregory was a top 5 pick. So him falling to 13, I think that would be a great pick for them here.
47, you already have Gregory gone, so what do you think the Saints would look at?
I have Shelton gone too, so there goes the defensive line. I'm going to go with Trey Waynes and the cornerback from Michigan State because they do need help in that secondary. I think he would be a great fit down there.
They need guard help too, so they could always take the next guard off the board or maybe a tackle and convert him to a guard. I doubt it, but it's a possibility. They need wide receiver help too. They got rid of Kenny Stills, so all they got is Brandon Cooks and an aging Marcus Colston, and they traded Jimmy Graham. So if any of the wide receiver products drop to here, that's a possibility for New Orleans.
What about Miami at number 14? They brought in a wide receiver, Kenny Stills.
Kenny
right?
Stills,
from
the Saints. Yep. And they also signed Jordan Cameron, the tight end from Cleveland, and they still have their tight end Charles Clay, who is projected to go to Buffalo, who people keep saying already there. I don't think Clay's going to end up there. I have them taking Devontae Parker here at 14 in the third mock draft.
I have them with Kevin Johnson going. They could use a cornerback too. Kevin Johnson at number 14 wouldn't be a bad pick. And in our first mock, what did we have? Trey Waynes?
Yes, sir.
Cornerback is definitely a possibility. I bet you they'd love to see Trey Waynes fall to here. But with Parker still there, that would be a definite possibility too. But like I said, they already brought in Kenny Stills. I think I'm going to stick with Kevin Johnson, say they help out their secondary.
Well, 47, you have Waynes off the board already. Would you take Kevin Johnson or coach choking Marcus Peters here if you were Miami?
Well, Coach Choker has some great physical skills.
Instead of the Kingslayer, he's the Coach Choker.
Well, he's obviously a fan of Latrell Sprewell.
So what do you
It's
think,
his idol.
47? You going to go with Kevin Johnson or Peters?
I look for them to take Kevin Johnson, the cornerback from Wake Forest. He's not the fastest cornerback in the world, but he knows how to cover. He's an excellent man-to-man coverage receiver. I mean, he tends to bite a little bit sometimes, but
I'd like to see him fall to the Steelers personally.
Our number 15 team, the San Francisco 49ers, got a new coach, so they could take Peters and he could choke a rookie coach. That'd be fun.
No, I want Peters to fall to the Steelers so he can choke Haley.
Okay, Peters and Johnson both falling to him, and Landon Collins.
All of them.
All of them, all right. Well, I got Eric Armstead, the defensive tackle, going to the 49ers here. He's coming out of Oregon. The dude's a physical freak. He's giant. They lost Patrick Willis. They lost Chris Borland. They lost Ray McDonald. Justin Smith is going to retire. They did sign Darnell Dockett, but he's old as garbage. They need defensive help. They need defensive line help especially. Armstead fits the mold.
Yeah, I think Armstead's definitely the pick here. They would like to see Danny Shelton fall this far maybe, but with him off the board, I think you're right in saying Eric Armstead.
Who do we have in the first mock, 47?
Eric Flowers from Miami.
Yeah,
Tackle.
they do need O-line help, so that would be a good pick too, I guess. But I like Armstead a little better.
I think Flowers is dropping down the draft a little bit too. That'd be a little high for him now.
Wow, we had Armstead all the way down to the Colts at 29 in the first mock.
I'm not really big on Armstead, but all I hear is San Francisco's looking at Armstead, so I'm gonna stick with that.
Would you try to take a middle linebacker to replace Willis, 47, or stick with D-line help?
Bernardrick McKinney's the best inside linebacker prospect in this draft. I could see maybe San Francisco taking him possibly, but Armstead's a beast. They're going to need somebody to trade him, or they're going to need somebody to replace Justin Smith.
Yeah.
Because, Justin Smith was a beast. He's not going
Right.
to be easily replaceable.
And Ray McDonald may be a woman beater or a rapist, but he was a pretty good football player, so they're going to need help on the D-line. And I think McKinney may be a little bit of a reach. Armstead, a little bit more of a physically gifted athlete.
Definitely going to go with Armstead with the 49ers.
Clean sweep for the 49ers. Eric Armstead's where it's at.
The Houston Texans have a D lineman way better than Armstead in J.J. Watt, so I doubt that they're going to try to get anybody on the D line, but they could look at cornerbacks. I have Kevin Johnson in the third mock going to Houston. You guys already have him gone. They could take any of the assorted Kevin Johnson, Marcus Peters, Trey Waynes.
I think Marcus Peters is a serious possibility for him, but the thing is, I still have Devontae Parker off the board. Andre Johnson's gone. He's in Indianapolis now. They need a wide receiver. I think that's a nice pick for him, a nice value pick in taking Devontae Parker at number 16.
Who's the other guy they got down there? What's his name? DeAndre Hopkins, I think.
Yeah, I really like that guy.
I
So
always-
if they could pair him up with Devontae Parker, they got a nice little duo after losing one of the best wide receivers in football, although aging and declining a little bit.
And they have no quarterback to throw it, but that's okay.
Well, they'll have to look at that maybe later in this draft or maybe in a trade because they got to do something.
What do you think, 47? You're the Texans GM. You got 60 seconds to make a pick. What do you do, hotshot?
60 seconds, that's kind of brutal. In the first mock draft, Landon Collins was going to them.
That'd be a good pick at 16, although I want him to fall to Pittsburgh at 22.
Collins could go anywhere in this draft, anywhere from probably 12 to 25.
Well, you have Parker going already. How about the Marcus Peters, like we were saying, the cornerback?
That's another guy I want to fall to the Steelers.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I think if it's not Kevin Johnson, Marcus Peters would be a good pick.
Well, there's three players I particularly like in this draft. And Peters is one of them. Aside from the emotional issues, I'll tell you what, they do need help out there, and he would be the best pick for them. So I'm going to go with Marcus Peters from Washington.
I think that's definitely a possibility if Johnson is already off the board now. If Kevin Johnson is there, I really think he's the better corner. Other people think Peters is the better corner. But I'd go with Jim on that and say Kevin Johnson would be the pick.
Number 17, the San Diego Chargers. Phillip Rivers could be out of town, shipped to Tennessee for the second overall pick, so they may move up. That's a very slight possibility. That's just kind of like a fairy tale. They have no running back. They lost Ryan Matthews. They don't have a lot of help at wide receiver. Vincent Jackson's been gone for a while. Who do they have there? Michael Floyd? One of the Floyds, right?
It would be Malcolm Floyd.
Okay. I always get them confused. So they could use a little bit of wide receiver help, but there's not really anything left right now at value.
Jalen Strong isn't that bad.
He's not bad. He came in for a workout with the Steelers. They checked out his wrist. He passed, but I like Melvin Gordon here. That's who we got in our third mock. San Diego definitely needs running back help. Todd Gurley's knee still a little bit of an issue. He could slide down to like a Dallas or somewhere a little later. I think San Diego really likes Gordon. They got a good look at him. Wisconsin's not that far away from San Diego. Let's do work, son.
Not that far at all, Jim.
Yeah, we actually had Todd Gurley going in the first draft, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
They
we
do
did.
need a running back. But Malcolm Brown's still available here, correct? Nobody had Malcolm Brown going yet?
No.
Man, that would be tough to pass up Malcolm Brown. I think he's one of the better players in this draft, but I'm going to say they lost Ryan Matthews. Where'd he go?
Philly.
So
Hang out with
he's
DeMarco.
gone to Philadelphia. Bring in another running back, the best running back in this draft right now. It's not Todd Gurley, even though I really think he's going to be a good running back too. I think Melvin Gordon is the pick here.
See, I was thinking the same thing, J-Dash. I like Melvin Gordon right here. Gurley's
Sweep
obvious.
again, huh? Todd Gurley's kind of girly.
Well, yeah, I guess so, but Melvin Gordon's
Say that to
definitely the
his
pick
face.
right here.
I will.
Yeah.
The Kansas City Chiefs coming at number 18. They got a girly quarterback at Alex Smith. They got a pretty beast quarterback with Terrell Pryor backing him up. See if Pryor can push for any help. This is where I have Malcolm Brown going, Dash, the defensive tackle from Texas. Kansas City needs a lot of help. They need some help on the defense. They do need O-line help. I don't think they're going to find it here. Signed Jeremy Maclin to help the wide receivers try to catch a touchdown pass, since Smith couldn't throw one at all last year to a wide receiver. They got Jamal Charles, so they don't need too much help in the running game. So you shore up that defense with the best defensive player remaining, and that's Malcolm Brown.
In the second mock here, we actually had him taking Andrews Pete. How nice would that be if he fell to them? But if they would go line here, it would have to be either Eric Flowers or Lael Collins, I would believe.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
No,
the
we-
right time to take him, especially with Malcolm Brown on the board. I think you're correct in saying Brown's the pick here.
Brown's, I mean, he's another guy I'd like to see go to Pittsburgh.
Please believe. I either want to see Landon Collins or Malcolm Brown.
Or Kevin Johnson or Marcus Peters.
Yeah, I'd rather see the first two first, but I'd take any four of those, and I think they could all be gone.
Well, Cleveland has the number 19th pick also. If they trade up to get Marcus Mariota at number 5 from the Redskins, they probably won't have this pick. It's too hard for me to figure out what would go on and who would have this pick, and if Washington, blah, 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 blah. If Cleveland's still sitting at 19 here, they're going to probably take an outside linebacker or some more defensive help. They said they wanted O-line help and D-line help to really shore up the line of scrimmage. I think Bud Dupree is an interesting pick for him, the outside linebacker from Kentucky. He's fast, he's strong, he can provide the defense with a spark, he can play on third downs right away. He may even be able to start right away.
On the first mock draft, we had him taking Eddie Goldman.
The second mock here, Lael Collins, tackle out of LSU. And there's still the possibility of Eric Flowers is still there. So that's pretty much the two linemen they could take. On the defensive side,
They need outside linebacker help and nose tackle help. Malcolm Brown's already gone. There's not really too many other defensive tackles that I'd take this high.
possibly Eddie Goldman. It might be still a little too high for him. Yeah,
That's who we had in our first mock, I believe, correct? Eddie Goldman.
Yeah.
Solid gold.
I'm going to agree with you, though. Bud Dupree's better talent, and they got to go best available when it comes down to those players.
Yes, when you're getting close to pick 20 and back, you're starting to take best available because you don't always get to pick who you want.
They could definitely go a number of directions here. I'm not gonna go with for the sweep here though. If they want to shore up the line of scrimmage, they're gonna go for a big guy in the trenches. I'd say if Collins is available at 19, I think they're gonna go with him.
Lael Collins?
Absolutely.
He's a big-time tackle coming out of LSU. He can really beef up that running game and protect any quarterback that they have there, whether it be Mariota or Manziel. Number 20, the Philadelphia Eagles. They were the biggest buyers and sellers in free agency. They got Byron Maxwell. They got DeMarco Murray. They got Ryan Matthews. Man, who else? They got rid of Shady McCoy. They got rid of Trent Cole. They got rid of Jeremy Maclin. They got rid of Nick Foles. They brought in Sam Bradford. I mean, we could do a whole segment on these guys.
Yeah, they're trying to make changes. They're not happy with the results they have, so I give credit to them. Go out and make something happen.
Well, this is the first year Chip Kelly's had total control over player personnel, so he's going a little bonsai on them.
We'll see what happens with it.
Old Mother Hubbard's cleaning the cupboard, and I think Landon Collins could be a solid pick for them at 20 if he's still there. The Eagles need safety help. They could use one more corner to play with Maxwell, but I don't think they're going to get one of the top guys here at 20. And I think they need safety more than corner. So if Landon Collins is still here, sadly, I think Philadelphia takes him.
Yeah, I'd like to see him fall 2 more spots, but you're right. Landon Collins would definitely have to be the pick here. The only other option I would say is Marcus Peters. There was some talk earlier in the offseason about Shaq Thompson could be a possibility, but he's fallen off a little bit. I think Landon Collins is definitely the best talent available here and someone they could use.
I like that pick too, J-Dash. I like Landon Collins to go with Philadelphia. They
Come on, 47. You got to pick someone else so Collins can follow the Steelers. Give somebody some hope, man.
Oh, there's a guy that I hope the Steelers get, but we'll get there. I mean, I don't think he's going to fall that far, but...
What about Cincinnati at 21? They need D-line help, wide receiver help, O-line help. They need some help in the defensive backs, especially at cornerback. They need a tight end, but there's nobody good enough to go early in the first round. Not that this is too early. Max Williams is probably the only tight end projected in the first round, if he's projected there at all. And they just got Tyler Eifert not too long ago, so I don't think they reached with an early pick for that.
It's tough. The Bengals, they need a corner. There's still a good corner out there. I think the Steelers are going to get not necessarily screwed over. I think they're still going to have a player they like at their pick, but it's not going to be these players the fans like. I think Marcus Peters is going to be gone at this time with the Cincinnati Bengals right before the Steelers pick.
Yeah, I agree. That's who we have going in our third mock, Peters. Cincinnati, Marvin Lewis is a guy who's known to be able to reel in some big egos, so they're a team that's not afraid to take a chance on somebody like a Vontae Burfict. I have a hard time saying that guy's name.
Perfect.
Yeah, something like that. He had a little bit of character issues coming out of the draft. They brought him in, and he's been a productive player on their defense. So Peters can come in. He may try to choke Marvin Lewis once or twice, but I think he'll be able to talk him down. Hypnotize him. You will not choke your coach.
Well, they do like to thug it out sometimes down there in Cincinnati.
Thug life, yo.
What do you think, 47? You already have Peters off the board.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have Peters gone, so I'm definitely going to be against you guys on this one. I mean, as you said, they need defensive lineman help. I could see them taking Eddie Goldman. They want another wide receiver to play opposite of A.J. Green. So, I mean, I could definitely see him taking Dorial Green Beckham or perhaps Devin Funchess from Michigan.
Strong's a possibility, too.
That he is.
Funchess is, or whatever, however you say his name, he's an interesting prospect because the guy's huge. He's like 6'7" almost, 250 pounds. He's a beast wide receiver.
Him and A.J. Green together wouldn't be a bad thing.
Marvin Jones and Mohamed Sanu are there, so I don't know if they're going to go wide receiver. I think I'd maybe go Dorial Green Beckham over Funchess. He's dropped out of the first round in a lot of mocks that I've seen, but it's definitely a possibility.
But that's who I was going to have him taking, Dorial Green Beckham. They could definitely use the wide receiver help. Their defense isn't bad, so it's not an immediate need right now. But I wouldn't be shocked, though, to see him take Eddie Goldman or even Shaq Thompson or even Bud Dupree for that matter.
Well, everybody's favorite team in the world, the Pittsburgh Steelers, are finally here at number 22. Fans, we know how much you love them. We love them. They're our number one team in our hearts. They need so much help on the defensive side of the ball. Polamalu's gone. Kiesel's gone. Harrison's old. Jarvis Jones is garbage. Moats is unproven. Shazier had a rough year. Cortez Allen's garbage. Willie Gay's second rate. Mike Mitchell's a little bitch. Shamarko Thomas is completely unproven. Cam Hayward's good. Tuitt's good. And McClendon's garbage. So, all that said, let's draft everything that's garbage and become a Super Bowl contender right away, right?
Well, I tell you what, if Randy Gregory drops as far as some people think he
Pick him!
Oh my God, do you take him so quick?
Pick him
Especially
up.
with Landon Collins gone and these corners gone. I would take him in a split second. I don't care about some failed drug test.
Yeah, who cares? Him and Le'Veon will smoke together and they'll stay out of trouble.
But, let's see. Gregory's off the board. Kevin Johnson's off the board. Marcus Peters is off the board. Landon Collins is off the board. Malcolm Brown's off the board.
Bud Dupree's off our board.
Yeah, it's tough. So all the players I want them to take are gone. I'm gonna say with the guy they brought in, Eli Harold, the outside linebacker, that would be their choice. That's what they'd have to go with.
I did see one article that suggests they take offensive line help if one of the top tackles fall there. I don't think that's going to happen. I like the Eli Harold pick. We need pass rush help. We have no depth at outside linebackers, so you got to bring somebody in. 47, who do you got him taking?
Bud Dupree out of Kentucky. This is one of my favorite players in the draft. This guy is physically gifted. He is fast. He is big. He has an outstanding vertical. He can get himself in the air. The bat passes down. He gets to the quarterback. I think he would be an ideal fit in a 3-4 defense like Pittsburgh's, especially when you got Tuitt, who's going to be playing definitely in front of him, taking on those blockers.
Tuitt and Hayward. Hayward had 7.5 sacks himself last year.
So, I mean, this is definitely something, you could possibly look forward to. If Peters is still there, you take him.
Agreed.
Or Gregory, as you just said. But, those players are long gone by now on our drafts.
Believe it.
But, I think Bud Dupree, I could see him going anywhere from Oakland all the way down to Pittsburgh or even past that.
Yeah, Bud Dupree could end up being a top 10 pick.
All it takes is one team to fall in love with you.
What about the Detroit Lions?
They need pass rush help, O-line help. They lost Ndamukong Suh. They lost Nick Fairley on the D-line. They gained Haloti Ngata. They got rid of Reggie Bush. They could use some help at running back. They need help at right tackle or left guard. I think they're going to go with the tackle DJ Humphries from Florida. He moved up our board because of you, Dash. You did a little bit of research on this guy and seen that he was moving up some other people's boards. You like him. He's a big, strong, physical guy. He's somebody that fits in Detroit. They want to... I don't want to say they want to take the reins away from Matt Stafford, but they don't want him to have to throw for 5,000 yards. They want him to be able to throw efficient, not necessarily all the time. So you get a big tackle in there, you protect his blind spot, you improve the run game.
Yeah, their defense was beast mode last season. I know they lost their 2 D tackles. They still brought a good one in. You still need to bring someone else in eventually. And we had them taking Eddie Goldman here in the second mock draft. But their offense was not as good as advertised last season. They were very disappointing all around. And
couldn't run it, couldn't keep Stafford upright.
Yeah, I think the best thing to do here is go offensive line. And I like this Humphries guy, and I'm going to say that's the pick.
Everybody Humphries around.
Do the Humphries dance.
47, what do you think Detroit needs to do? Get Barry Sanders out of retirement? He'd probably still run everywhere.
Yeah, I would beg him. I'd be like, Mr. Sanders, will you please come back?
Bring back Billy Sims.
Scott Mitchell.
Eddie Goldman's a real possibility here for Detroit. I could see him going running back, possibly a Todd Gurley down at 23. There's a lot of things they could do. TJ Clemmings is a possibility. But I'm with you. Humphries is a beast. Stafford took a beating, takes a beating, continues to take a beating.
Gurley's an interesting pick. He could be somebody Detroit goes after. If they brought him in, I'm not sure if they did or not, but if they brought him in for a private workout and they feel his knee's good, they might sneak up and take him.
Let's move on to the Arizona Cardinals. I say they trade up to number 2 and take Marcus Mariota because they have no quarterback.
Yeah, because Carson Palmer sucks. You're the worst quarterback to ever touch a football in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, that's definitely not true, but
No, it's not true.
No, that goes to Tommy Maddox.
No, my vote for worst quarterback would probably have to go to either Cade McNown, Achilles Smith, or Ryan Leaf.
I was going to say, when's Ryan Leaf coming in?
Can we throw Bubby Brister in there? He pitched an interception.
He had a longer career, though. He had a career.
Well, just
Ryan
because you had
Leaf
a
couldn't even
career
have a
of being
career.
garbage doesn't mean
But at
you had
least
a
he was in
career.
the NFL. Ryan Leaf was garbage.
Well, Ryan Leaf took a bunch of yay, blew it up his nose, and transported it and got arrested, so...
All right, well, I'm just joking, though. The Cardinals aren't going to take a quarterback in the first round, although I do believe they need a future quarterback.
Yes.
But in the second mock here, we had him taking an inside linebacker and Bernardrick McKinney. That would be a good pick for him. I think he's going to fall a little bit further in this draft. They need a running back. I like Todd Gurley here.
Yeah, they signed Mike Iupati. That'll help the O-line a little bit with the run blocking. They don't have a running back. They were looking at Peterson. I don't think they have the firepower to go get him. They got their pressure through blitz packages in 2014, not necessarily a dominant pass rusher. Todd Bowles is gone from their defense. He went to New York. He's their head coach now. So a pass rusher could help. There's not a whole lot left here at 24. Todd Gurley's somebody who could help the offense instantly. He could take a little pressure off garbage Carson Palmer. If he's fast, he can play in the passing game a little bit, some swing passes. So he's a legit pick here at 24 if you ask me.
I agree. They do need help at running back, and he would be the best running back on the board at this point.
2 running backs in the first round, unheard of in today's football.
Who knows? It's possible Melvin Gordon doesn't get picked yet either, and he's the pick here.
He's a real possibility too, but I have him going to San Diego.
San Diego.
We're going to go jacking it in San Diego.
All right, our number 25 team, I want to apologize to all Carolina Panthers fans. The last mock draft, it might even been the one before that too, I said the team added veteran players such as Alan Ball. They did not sign Alan Ball, they signed Charles Tillman. I did my research on NFL.com, so I do apologize. The league-owned website lied to me, so it's kind of hard to be 100% accurate when that happens. So, thank you, Carolina fan. I forget your name who called us out on it. I appreciate it. Call us out on our mistakes. If we make them, we'll fix them. But at 25, I think in all mocks, we had him taking T.J. Clemmings, the tackle for Pitt. Seems
I'm
to
going to
just be the
stick
sure
with it.
pick. Yeah, honestly.
I'm rolling with it.
Agreed. They need offensive line help. They need to keep Cam Newton healthy.
Yeah, and they only have one bad running back there now that gets hurt a lot. So they need a little more help on the run game.
Every Pitt Panther that is ranked as a first-round talent turns into a top talent in
Shane
the NFL.
McCoy, Aaron McDonald, Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
The
it
list
goes on and on. It's ridiculous. See, I mean, they're not the greatest college football team, but they
teach you how to play football.
Pure talent.
Well, our number 26 team is the most hated team here at the spread, the Baltimore Ravens. They need help at wide receiver to help Unibrow Flacco. They could use a cornerback, an outside linebacker, running back help, and some help on the defensive side of the ball at safety and D-line. They lost Torrey Smith. Steve Smith will step up a little bit. Justin Forsett re-signed there? I can't remember if he did or not.
I believe so, yes.
Kendrick Lewis is kind of a Band-Aid safety at free safety, so he'll be all right for this year. Landon Collins will be gone, and he's a strong safety anyway, and they're not going to take a free safety in the first round. I got him taking Jaylene Strong, the wide receiver from Arizona State.
If one of these running backs happen to fall to the Ravens, they could think about it because Justin Forsett is a good running back, but they could use another guy. It's a deep draft for running backs, so you could probably find one in a later round. Jaylon Strong, there's a lot of people that like this guy and think he's one of the top talents at wide receiver. I don't think he's quite as good as the top 3, but I think that's the way the Ravens would go here.
47, who do you take if you're the hated Baltimore Ravens?
I really don't care who they take. I hope I hope they lose their pick to us. Dirty bastards.
They forget to turn it in. Dallas gets to go.
Actually, I could care less if they pick too. I hate the Cowboys too.
Any chance they take that tight end Max Williams?
They could.
The Ravens?
The Ravens love the tight
possibility.
end. It's a very big possibility.
Pitt has never really been what they wanted. I don't know if he's even with the team anymore. He gets injured a lot.
I could see Strong going here. I could see Williams going here.
Well, who are you going to take between the two of them, Strong or Williams?
They still have Dennis Pitta there, don't they?
I hate them
I
so
think
much.
Pitta is
I
the
don't
one
love-
there. Owen Daniels, I think, is the one that's gone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Max Williams would be a good pick for them here. I mean, Flacco does love to throw to his tight ends. I mean, if Forsett runs the ball well.
That's it. That's a spread special pick right there. 47 special.
All right, how about the Dallas Cowboys? Is it going to be a trade for Adrian Peterson?
I don't think so. Minnesota's asking for so much. Dallas doesn't really want to give it up. I don't think they have enough to give up in the cap room to do it.
Yeah, that's
if
what I'm
anybody
thinking.
could, it's probably Oakland. They have a little bit more to give up and more cap room. I think Dallas stays put where they're at and takes Eddie Goldman, the defensive tackle from Florida State. Darren McFadden, they did sign in the offseason to help the running back positions, so he could do a little bit, but he's kind of garbage. They need help at cornerback. They're not going to get one of the top ones at 27, so you don't reach and you take the best player available.
Jordan Phillips is also a possibility. It's whoever you like more out of those two, I would say, but I'll go with what you say on this. E.G.
47, who do you got?
I see him taking defensive tackle Eddie Goldman.
Another spread sweep.
That's how we do.
Well, they need the tackle help. It makes sense at this point. He's on the board. Get him.
They did sign Greg Hardy, by the way. We forgot to mention. But Hardy's been suspended for 10 games, so he only gets to play 6 games. And he's already gotten into a fight in training camp, so he might not even make it. Our number 28 team, the Denver Broncos. They brought Peyton Manning back for one last run. I think they got to definitely go somebody to protect Manning. They did lose Julius Thomas, so if Williams is still available, he's a possibility here. But I think in their system, the tight end is a product of the system, so they can pretty much plug any athletic guy in, and he's going to play well. I think they take Cedric Ojibwe, the offensive tackle from Texas A&M. And yes, I'm probably saying your name wrong, and I apologize, but I'm not an English major.
I think that name's anything but English, Jim.
See, I'm going to disagree with you. I say if Max Williams is there, he would be the right pick for him. They need to replace Julius Thomas.
Julius Thomas was an Obi-Wan jabroni until Peyton Manning came there.
You could say that, but do you really think Julius Thomas isn't that great of a tight end?
You know who else was an Obi-Wan jabroni? That other dude they had. He played with the Colts. He played with Peyton and the Colts.
Dallas
Jacob
Clark?
Tammy, yeah.
Oh, Tammy, yeah. Well, yeah, that guy isn't that good, and he was okay with Peyton Manning,
Clark
but Julius
was a bum,
Thomas
too.
is a monster, man.
We'll see. We'll see if Blake Bortles and Thomas do anything, but I doubt it.
Yeah, it's not going to be the same, obviously, but he's definitely going to help Bortles. But, I mean, you got to expect a decrease in production from him just because he has Bortles and that terrible
Nope,
Jacksonville
Thomas made
offense.
Peyton good, so he should make Bortles good.
Who said that he made Peyton good?
You did.
No, I didn't. I just said he's a beast.
All right, whatever.
So what do you think, 47? Be the tiebreaker here. Is it Max Williams or is it who?
I already had Max Williams go to Baltimore.
Yep.
Oh, so you're beat nuts on him.
So
Who's
he
it gonna
likes
be then?
Ojibwe.
I think it's Ogbue. I could be wrong too.
Ojibwe. Yeah, you're probably right. You're
I was
you're
going to
better.
say, I think it's Ogbue. But yeah, I like him taking Ogbue. You know, Peyton, his neck.
OG, triple OG.
Yeah,
Although, I mean, it doesn't matter who Peyton has on his offensive line. He's going to adjust them anyway.
Peyton
Well,
had
listen,
bum
Peyton Manning's not
claws.
going to be there forever either, and they still need a tight end. It's not like whoever comes into Denver next is just going to make their tight end good, so they still need a tight end.
Yeah, I mean, with Max Williams being off the board, though, I mean, they're definitely not going to go tight end.
Oh, obviously not. No, if Max Williams is gone,
I-
I'm not going to say it's definitely Ogbue, but
I like him taking Ogbue, personally.
Our number 29 team has the best young quarterback in the game, the Indianapolis Colts. They could use a little bit of safety help and defensive end help and linebacker help on the defensive side of the ball. On offense, they could use a little bit of tackle help and maybe a running back. They did sign Frank Gore, but he's more of a stopgap. They also got Andre Johnson right after they signed Frank Gore, so that helps with wide receivers. I think they're going to go Lyle Collins, the tackle from LSU. You help protect Andrew Luck. You help Frank Gore a little bit. Luck got beat up behind that line. He is a guy who can move around and avoid the rush, but if you can get him so that he's able to just stand in the pocket and throw like a regular quarterback should, he is going to tear defenses apart.
I think if there's a D lineman here that they really like, that would be the direction they go. But you're right. They really need to bring in an offensive line, and if it's not going to be Eric Flowers, it's going to be Lael Collins. I think I like Collins a little bit more, so I'm going to go ahead and follow your lead.
Would you go
and say-
Collins or Jordan Phillips here, since you think they need D-line help a little more?
Well, Jordan Phillips is a possibility. There's a couple guys that are possibilities, but I still say Collins is the better talent. And you got to keep Andrew Luck upright. He got hit a ton last season.
Yeah. You don't want him to become David Carr.
Or Derek Carr.
I think Bernardrick McKinley, he's the best inside linebacker in this draft consensusly. I think Indianapolis goes with him because they're going to need somebody to quarterback the middle of that defense.
If you're going to go inside linebacker, it can either be McKinney, Perryman, or Paul Dawson, I would say. Dawson was projected to be a high pick, but then he's fallen out of the first round on a lot of mocks.
But, I mean, if McKinney's still on the board, I like him here.
What about State Farm's favorite team, the Green Bay Packers?
Better double check yourself.
The Packers need inside linebacker help, corner help, and D-line help. Clay Matthews was a nice surprise at inside linebacker, but they need somebody beside him. They need cornerback help, like I just said. The tight end position's a little up in the air, but Williams has already gone in all of our mocks. I have him taking the defensive tackle from Oklahoma, Jordan Phillips. He helps shore up a D-line. He helps open up some holes, so he instantly makes the inside linebackers better, the outside linebackers better, the basic 3-4 concept.
See, here's where you and I disagree. I think they're going to move Clay Matthews back to outside. They have a little bit of hope in this Sam Barrington that he can repeat how he played last season. They were pretty happy with him. If they can get Matthews on the outside, bring in someone like Paul Dawson or a McKinney, or who's the other one, Denzel Perryman, one of those three, and then your inside linebackers are okay, and you got Clay Matthews back on the outside. But I'll say they go with Paul Dawson here.
Paul Dawson, bringing him back to the first round.
I mean, and at this point, McKinney is the best guy. I just had him getting taken by Indianapolis. I mean, that'd be something to see them go after Perryman with their next pick. I'm going to agree with Sella, though. I mean, games are won in the trenches. I mean, it's... Unless you're a freak linebacker, I mean, you need them defensive linemen taking on those blockers.
Eating up them blocks.
I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe Ray Lewis isn't Ray Lewis without Sam Adams or Haloti Ngata. I like Jordan Phillips to go here.
Our number 31 team, the New Orleans Saints, in our first mock draft, they haven't traded Jimmy Graham yet, so we still had Seattle with that pick.
Second mock too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
We had the Seahawks taking Dorial Green-Beckham here.
Okay, so then once we went to do the third mock draft, we have the Saints coming up, and I have them taking Dorial Green-Beckham, the wide receiver from Missouri. They got rid of Kenny Stills.
Well, I tell you what. If Gregory falls to them, at what pick do they have? 13?
Yeah.
Or even Trey Waynes. One of those two fall to them there. There's a big upgrade on the defensive side. Jordan Phillips still here. You could build up your D tackle, too. That'd be huge. Two big names to bring in to help this defense.
Well, I already had the Saints taking Trey Waynes
At 13.
at 13, so, I mean...
What do you think, offense this time, or are they going to stick with defense? Build that defense up.
Well, I mean, the best wide receiver available would make sense for me. I mean, yeah, I like the Saints taking Jalen Strong here. I mean, he's going to be the best wide receiver. I mean, if this is how my draft would play out if I picked it, I mean, Strong would be a great pick.
If you get Gregory at 13 and Strong at 31 in the first round, that's a win first round.
Oh, besides you lost the best tight end in the game.
Yeah, but you also cleared up salary cap space to be able to sign some other
Correct.
players. $10 million a year was rough.
Especially for a tight end.
Our last team is your favorite team, 47, the New England Patriots. I'm hoping that before the draft comes out, the Deflategate results come out, which we all know it won't, and they take their picks away from them. They're going to wait conveniently till after the draft, let them pick, and then take picks away from them next year. Belichick likes to go O-line and D-line early in drafts, so I could see him taking the defensive tackle, Carl Davis from Iowa. It's not a splash pick. It's not somebody that everybody's going to be talking about the next day, but he's big. He's solid. They got rid of Vince Wilfork in the offseason. They couldn't afford him anymore. They lost Darrell Revis in the offseason, so they need to shore up the defensive side of the ball. Gerard Mayo's been hurt. Dante Hightower's coming back off a slight injury this year, so they need to get some younger guys on the defense, get a little fresher, trying to make another run while Brady's still there.
I think the New England Patriots draft smart. They're going to go with the best player available, no matter the position. And there's going to be some decent players still left here. There's, according to how I have it set up, Dorial Green-Beckham could be a possibility there, or Bernardjic McKinney could be a possibility. I think they'd go with, I don't know. A lot of people haven't taken wide receiver, and with Beckham still there, that could be a strong possibility. I think McKinney is a little bit better talent, and I think they would go with him.
Between Dawson, McKinney, and Perryman, that's three pretty good middle linebacker that are available. One of them, not all of them are available. One of those three could be available to New England here. And with Mayo being hurt and they needing somebody else to play beside Hightower, it could be a good pick at middle linebacker. I
got McKinney gone already, so, I mean, you got Perryman still there. You got Shaq Thompson still there.
Shaq Thompson, yeah.
So, I mean, it's a matter of who they think
how
is better.
How about Eric Flowers, if he fell the whole way down?
Yeah, they could use some guard help.
I mean, it's not necessarily they have to draft anything, really. Just take what's given to you at this point.
Right.
So what do you think, 47?
I don't know. I think they're going to address their linebacker issues a little bit. I think they're going to... I think
Perryman or Dawson then.
Watch them trade out of it completely and just pick up more picks in the second, third round.
They'll probably have like 5 first-round picks by the time it's over.
Well, Shaq Thompson, he's a pass rusher, isn't he?
Shaq Thompson is a guy...
Yeah.
See, I could see them going after a pass rusher.
He's a little bit of a hybrid. He can play safety or linebacker.
Which
they
would
say.
be good for the
Actually,
Patriots.
that would be
'cause
extremely good. I could definitely see them taking Shaq Thompson.
Belichick's a master.
That's who I'm going to go with. Shaq Thompson out of Washington.
Dunking it in people's face.
Well, I think they're just going to move him around. I think he's going to probably become like a Polamalu type player. At least that's what they're going to try to work with.
Good luck.
Yeah, I know. Nobody's going to be like Troy.
Well, that wraps it up. Thank you guys for coming in studio. Thank you, fans, for listening. You guys can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. Follow me on Twitter at betjimthewin. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. Keep checking out Facebook, man. I got a new phone. I've been posting stuff like whoa.